Using a couple cedar 2x4s and 1x3s, I'm going to try making a small garden bench, just in time for spring. My goal with this design is to use standard 2x4s, but maybe give it a touch more elegance than just sticking a few boards together. I'll start by cutting 4 pieces to make the frame. Red cedar is a good choice for outdoor items because of its natural resistance to decay, but depending on your location and budget, you could use any wood that can handle being outside, such as white oak, teak, redwood, or cypress. Then I'll put a stop block at 17 inches and cut 4 pieces for the legs. For a step up from your garden variety butt joints, I'm going to put this together with half laps. Using the depth stop on the miter saw, I'll cut a few test pieces until I have the depth set to exactly half the height of the material. I have a board clamped to the saw fence to move the workpiece forward a little. This will allow the sliding blade enough room to actually slide across the entire cut, giving it a flat bottom instead of a curve that matches the saw blade. When that's all good, I can go ahead and mark my real pieces and cut the laps. During processes like this that involve repetitive actions, it's important to stay focused on what you're doing. If your thoughts begin to wander, or you're mindlessly rushing next to a 12-inch blade at 4,000 RPM, you might start flinging fingers across the shop. And the best part, to help reduce the chunky 2x4 look of the bench, I'm going to cut the ends of each of these frame pieces at a 15-degree angle. Now everything can slot together for a test fit, and I'll stand up the legs inside the frame. To remove some visual weight from the legs, I'm going to mark a few points and draw a line for a taper. I'll cut the taper with a jigsaw. Then I'll go around the newly sawn edges of the legs and frame pieces with a roundover bit. The angle gets rounded off by hand. With the legs cut and routed, I'll apply a bit of waterproof wood glue to them and clamp them to the frame. This is mostly just to keep them in place for a minute before they're screwed in. I need to do this now before it's all assembled because I'm going to put some screws into these from the inside, and there won't be room to get a drill in there when it's put together. So I'll set them in place with glue, take the frame apart, then send in some 2.5-inch screws. These are good quality screws that don't really need pre-drilling in softwoods, but I'm drilling pilot holes anyway, just because I don't want to risk the legs splitting to pieces at this stage of the game. Now I give everything a final sanding. Then I'll glue the half-lap joints and put a screw in through the bottom of each one. And that's the main structure. Now I need some slats for the seat. These are being cut from 1x3s. Once I have 10 of them, I'll put a round over on all the edges. On the drill press, I have the fence and stop set up, and I can drill a pilot hole in each end. These screws will be visible, and this ensures they'll all go in a straight line across the bench. Now they get attached with 1 1/4 inch screws, beginning with the 2 outside slats. I cut a small piece to use for aligning the overhang so they'll all be even. And then there's a spacer scrap to get them an equal distance apart. With those 2 things, it's a breeze to get it all put together. Then a final sanding on the slats, making sure there are no sharp or splintery parts that will cause someone, such as myself, great pain when sitting down. No finish on this bench, I'm going to let it naturally weather, so our work here is done. Let's put it outside and see if it works. This will be nice to have in the backyard. There's some room for improvement. The proportions aren't the most amazing thing I've ever seen, but it works great for playing some dulcimer tunes on a warm spring day.